All right, so we are here today with another collab mock draft. I'm here with Derek Parker, who's also familiar with the 2024 draft over on his channels, covers the OKC Thunder as well. You excited for this today, Derek?
I am, man. I am. This draft feels weird. It feels a little bit calm before the storm. You know, we're not getting a lot of info out there right now. We've gotten a few pieces there. Topic knee injury. Castle wants to play point guard, but otherwise, I feel like we're kind of in the dark right now.
Yeah, for sure. And I haven't actually done a mock or kind of talked about the Topic injury at all. And I think Gavoni hinted it shouldn't affect his draft stock too much. And we've seen guys come into the NBA not really playing their rookie seasons due to injuries or anything like that. So this isn't unordinary, but for a guard who could doesn't maybe rely on his athleticism too much and his speed, but this could hurt his draft stock. And I feel like he's someone that could have a wide range right now that we may not know about. So that's why I kind of like these collab mock drafts too, because you can't really set yourself up and you're going back and forth on where you want to go. For the number one pick, I'm going to give it to you. Are you kind of set on Alex Sarr? Doesn't really matter too much. He's your number one guy in this class, or do you think they go for the floor spacing upside of Reece Shea at number one?
So I myself fully lean Alex Sarr. I think for the Hawks moving forward, I think that should be the pick. I think whether it's alongside Trae Young, as a rim protecting mobile big who can potentially space the floor, I think that's the pick. But from what I'm hearing, and I don't want to give too much away, but I mean, there's legit whisperings and rumblings to the Reece Shea. So for the purposes of your mock, I'm sure there's been a lot of Alex Sarr at number one. I'm going to go Reece Shea. I think it could happen. I think if it happened today, it might be the pick. So I'll go Zach Reece Shea 1.
Yeah, I like that. I haven't really mocked him number one in a little bit because, I feel like as of late, you kind of see other media outlets coming out with him as their number one guy in this class in their mocks, and not saying that's what we would do, but I think that it just would be very interesting. And I know there's that viral image of Landry Fields and Kyle Korver and all those Hawks front office guys at his game where he played really well in France, and I like it, man. I like him going number one here because it could, I would say, spice things up, but I think that leaves me with a layup at number two, getting my top guy in the class to a team that desperately needs some big man depth in Washington. I think it's a little bit easier to have an idea that they would go after Sarr number two. Before I make that pick, say Sarr goes number one, are you keen on them going number two, even though they have a plethora of wings, or do you think they'd maybe go the Donovan Clingan route and get a position of need?
The Wizards?
Yeah.
With the Wizards, I feel like it's all about upside. I just don't see them taking a traditional big or a high floor wing. It's certainly possible with Reece Shea, being that he could potentially be a better creator and handler and passer down the line. But and with Clingan too, I get it in the off chance the three ball comes around, yada yada. But I really just see them going upside, and going back to the Topic injury, I can see them being one of the teams that it doesn't really drop his stock a lot in that sense of they've got all the time in the world to turn him into a great player. And I still think even with the knee injury, he could be one of the better players in this draft for the foreseeable future. So I don't know. I still maybe lean a Topic or a Buzelis, something with size and upside as well.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I feel like Will Dawkins has just kind of preached that since he's become in the front office in Washington. And that's definitely what they did last year with Bilal. And I feel they're a team that can be bad in 2025 and in 2026, and they can actually invest into the development of these guys. Whereas, so if one of them goes to maybe a Houston at 3, they may be expected to contribute right away. And for some of those guys, they're not going to be NBA ready. So yeah, with you going Reece Shea 1, makes it easy for me to go Alex Sarr number 2. This would be a home run pick for Washington. Hits a position of need, hits a high upside play, someone that can actually be a really good rim protector and just overall defender right away compared to what they already have, and then could also be maybe a plus offensive guy, but you're really looking at the long term with that pick. So we got Reece Shea 1, Sarr 2, put you on the clock 3 with the Houston Rockets, where they can go a bunch of different routes here.
Yeah, I think they have a ton of options. I'm not sure any of the options necessarily start in year one. I think pretty much anyone they get is probably going to be the backup, and then maybe plug them into the starting lineup as they reshuffle their roster for the future. It's been really popular. I've liked it for a while. I think Reed Shepherd is probably the guy here. He just slots in so well next to their budding superstar in Alperen Şengün, in that he can play off the ball. He provides a little playmaking. He's got defensive instincts despite being just 6'1". I think he's the guy. It doesn't make a ton of sense to go Donovan Clingan in my mind right here. I get the arguments, and then the rest are a little bit too project-y for me, so I go Reed Shepherd, bet on the upside immediately.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. Could play next to Fred VanVleet. Could also be a backup point guard as well, I think, at times. And someone I think has a very high floor because of his shooting, and that's what Houston could definitely use. So that puts me on the clock 4 with San Antonio. I've gone so many different ways with this pick before because they obviously have a pick at 8. So would they go double guards here? Could they go for somebody more NBA ready? Do they want to get a higher defender here at number 4 compared to like Rob Dillingham? I'm actually going to have them go Stephon Castle. There was like the rumors that he wouldn't go to a team that already has a franchise point guard. I don't know if I'm buying that too much, but for San Antonio, they get a really good defender. He can play off ball. He can have the ball in his hands, and that's what he wants to do. And I think for San Antonio going forward, even if he's not the lead initiator, he could be a really good secondary piece or just an overall good wing defender in which they could definitely use for that team going forward.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot. I think Castle makes a lot of sense, especially at 4. It feels like his stock is kind of wavered between 3 to 8. I feel like 4 is a good spot for him. I feel like the Spurs might just gamble, say, hey, let's go get our guy at 4 and maybe take a swing at 8. I think that makes a little more sense than maybe getting a little cute at 4 opposed to 8. So, yeah, I like that pick a lot.
So 5, Detroit. This is also another interesting pick here because I don't think they would go Klingon with Duren there, and they're trying to win next year compared to what they've done in years past.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this is the toughest pick in the draft. I think if you actually take the pick, you can't really do a lot of right considering there's not a perfect prospect in this range. Dalton Connect, I think, could help them a lot, but that's quite a reach at 5. They're probably going to field a lot of offers for this pick. If I had to guess, they're probably going to trade this pick. I'm going to draft for me here. I would go Buzelis. I'm high on him still. Really like the size. I think the fully realized version, which of course it's not a given he gets there, but the fully realized version of Buzelis as a jumbo wing that can hit shots, put the ball on the floor, defend at a high level, is great in this Pistons core. Now again, the timeline doesn't necessarily sync up right now. There's absolutely no guarantee Buzelis is any good. But I like the pick. That's probably what I'd do if I was the Pistons at 5, given how this mock has gone.
Yeah, for sure. And I think before Troy Weaver left, I think they could have maybe gone like the Dalton Connect route just because they need someone that can contribute next year. But now with maybe the new front office, we'll see if they change head coach at all. Like they could look for the project play in Buzelis. And I just found out too, I think it was on the Athletics podcast that the CEO on like the business side of the Detroit Pistons, I forget his name, but his son is Buzelis' agent, so there's like a heavy connection for him to Detroit. So people are kind of predicting that to happen, and I think that's like a very popular pick at 5. But like you said, I think it's like one of the tougher picks to do. At least me at 6 with Charlotte, a team that is kind of going in a new direction as well. I don't hate the idea of Donovan Klingon here, just to get reinforcements like in the front court. They could use it, but they do have Mark Williams. I like the idea of Rob Dillingham. I think he could play off ball, he could play on ball, and I'm not opposed to that. But there's the Ron Holland idea. Cody Williams is still here on the board. I don't know if they would go Topic. I think they would maybe go Rob Dillingham a little bit more off ball. Man, I'm kind of debating between a couple guys here. I'm going to go Rob Dillingham. I think they could look for some offense. I think maybe shares a couple of traits to like Nick Smith last year, maybe a tweener position guy. But I think someone that could play off ball alongside LaMelo Ball and play next to Brandon Miller, just getting one of the better shooters in this class. But with LaMelo Ball's kind of injury concerns over the past couple of years, he could also play backup point guard for you or could step in as a starting point guard if there was an injury to LaMelo Ball. So an interesting spot for Charlotte for sure at 6. Who I think is in kind of limbo right now, but I like that pick for Dillingham. What would you have gone there at 6?
It's really tough. I think, like you said, Klingon makes sense. I think Connect, again, bit of a reach, but that makes sense too. Yeah. I myself would probably go Holland just because I really like Holland. He's probably my number 1 prospect at this point, just in terms of, I think he's got a high floor. He can defend. The shot needs to come around, but he can do almost everything else. Monster in transition. I would go Holland, but I really like the Dillingham pick too, in that I think he's probably not a guy you want to throw in the starting lineup immediately. You probably want to put him in that 6-man or even just kind of spark plug scorer off the bench. So I like Dillingham there at 6. I think that's just fine.
Yeah, I do like Holland a ton, man. I do. I wonder what, like, I've seen his floor be all over the place. I've seen him go like as low as like 11 to Chicago, and I'm like, damn, this is like a top, I think, my opinion, the top 3 guy in this class. I think it would be criminal if we fell that far.
Yeah, he's a stud, man.
Yeah. All right, Portland at 7, team with 2 lottery picks. Do you think, I guess this is kind of a layup pick? I don't know if you're all Klingon here.
I like Klingon. It's tough because I personally think they can get some of the value that Klingon adds at 14. Like, I really like maybe a Misi down there or even taking a swing on another big. So I just don't know about Klingon at 7. I certainly consider him. I think Topic makes some sense in that, like, I don't know if Scoot is the guy long term. Topic is big enough to maybe play on the wing, offers more playmaking. I like Holland here again. I'll go Klingon. I think it makes a lot of sense. It gives you a nice pick. Maybe you swing for the fences at 14. Gives you a big that can play alongside kind of what right now is a smaller backcourt. Yeah, I like Klingon. That's a fine pick.
Yeah, and I think if like the way that this mock is folding, like we could see for sure a team like Memphis try to trade up to take Klingon, which I think could definitely happen on draft night. So San Antonio, we went Stephon Castle at 4. I kind of like Topic still, like just doubling up in guards, but I actually think I'm gonna go the Dalton. I don't know, man. There's 3 guys I love here. I mean, the way that this is falling, I like Connect as like kind of a stretch 4 wing score, one of the better shooters in this class. Topic is a good like value here at 8, and like even if he doesn't play at all next year, you can kind of figure out what you have in Stephon Castle at 4. And then I like Ron Holland. Like getting him and Castle in this draft could really prioritize defense for this team on the perimeter going forward. Man, there's some good options here. You know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to kind of go the route of prioritizing defense, getting Castle, getting Holland, guys that can defend, can switch on the perimeter. Maybe not the best floor spacers right away for this team, but we could say maybe there's a hypothetical. They add a point guard via the trade route this offseason, or they sign somebody to come in for this team next year. So I'm going to go Holland and Castle here, 4 and 8, something I haven't done so far.
Yeah, I really like that. Imagine those 2 guys at the point of attack kind of stifling people on the perimeter while you have Wemby, who's going to win the next 15 defensive player of the years in a row, waiting in the wings. Like, yeah, that's a phenomenal pick. I think Holland probably blossoms into a little bit more offensively. I think he's going to be able to hit open threes, make some shots, have that shot making. So I love that pick.
Yeah, and I think with playing with Wemby, with all the attention going to him in the post or just inside, like, yeah, you're going to get some great looks for Ron Holland, which could be huge for his development in his rookie season.
Yeah, 100%. All right, number 9, the Grizzlies. This one's easy to me. I go Connect. If Klingon's not on the board, I think you lean into plug and play, immediate floor spacer. He can play off ball. Kind of offers some of the things that Desmond Bane does, but at the same time, that's not bad for this core that needs as much of it as it can get. I think they probably jump back to Western Conference contention next year. I like Connect a lot here.
Yeah, I think like taking somebody NBA ready is huge for them. As they're probably right up there in the tiers of like your OKC, Minnesota, like maybe at the end of that tier, but they could definitely compete for a conference finals appearance. So that leaves me 10 Utah. I think this is going to be Nikola Topic. We'll see Keontae George in year 2 if he's going to be the full-on like number 1 playmaker in that half court. Will he develop in that way, or is he going to be a little bit better off ball, but could be a combo guard? But I think Topic, does he play at all? It doesn't, I think, matter too much in Utah. Can kind of fit that size and mold they've kind of drafted over the last couple of years with like at least Hendricks last year. Somebody that's maybe taller for his position specifically, but someone that I think will eventually be a fine shooter in this league, a good playmaker for their plethora of bigs down low. So Topic at 10 seems like the floor for him, I think, his draft stock right now.
Yeah, I was going to say the exact same thing. I think there's a few teams that would consider continuing to draft him with the knee injury, and I think, like we said, the Wizards are there. I think maybe even the Portland Trailblazers are there, but especially the Jazz in kind of that middling limbo. They've got the win now players, they've got prospects. I think they take the swing there, so yeah, I think that's a safe floor for him as well.
Yeah, me too.
Number 11, Chicago. Golly.
Do they do the same? Do they, like, I don't know what they're going to do this offseason.
They've just been so mediocre for so long.
I know.
Oh, man. I lean Cody Williams here for a few reasons. I think you can plug him in as a wing that can do some stuff immediately in terms of the defense. He can hit open threes. He can play make just a little bit. And then he's got the potential, like his brother, to blossom into that star down the line. But he still offers kind of an immediate insurgent of those things. So I lean Cody. He's kind of a good middle ground between absolute swing and only win now player to me.
Yeah, I think so too. I hope they do go the route of letting DeRozan walk, seeing if you can move some of your veterans, and let Cody Williams actually shine in a development role. Something I think they definitely didn't do well with Patrick Williams. I think stumped his development a little bit. 12 OKC. So I'm not sure if you have a pick that you really like for them right now. There's a couple guys that I think like can contribute right away. I don't know if they're going to go that route. I guess I'll ask you the question and then I'll kind of make a decision based off that. Do you think the guy they draft at 12, if they stay here, is going to be somebody they're going to rely possibly in the playoffs next year, like Casey Wallace from this past year, or could they go more development route here?
I lean development. I think Casey Wallace is just, in every sense of the word, a stud on defense. So I think that kind of gives you the runway to play him in the playoffs. Like, that's got to be the baseline floor, absolutely. And Devin Carter kind of offers that too. I don't know if I see them necessarily going that route, but all the other picks, I'm just not sure I see them kind of having those immediate plug-and-play playoffs type vibes. Like, even Kaysen, his offense kind of tanked a little bit there at the end, so I'm not sure anyone in this class sees the playoffs immediately, but that doesn't necessarily mean they go immediate development either. So it's a tough pick. It's a really tough pick.
Yeah, there's so many guys I like here. Like, I still think, like, I don't know if Collier is a good fit in OKC, but I still like him to go kind of like around this range. Tristan DeSilva does a little bit of everything if they want someone to contribute. But I guess if we're going to go, if there's an upside play, I think it could be T. John Salon or Jacoby Walter. I'll go Salon here. I know like they've kind of had this mold in the past with Presti, with like Poku and Ousmane Dieng, and even some other guys at times that kind of fit that mold. I think someone that honestly could contribute next year. You could say he's maybe more NBA ready than Ousmane Dieng was. I mean, I think that could be debatable, but someone that I think could eventually slide into their long-term plans, especially with a couple of guys hitting free agency fairly soon, that they're not going to be able to pay everybody, that maybe you're looking at more of like a 2026 range, that Salon is a pretty good rotational guy for you rather than next year. Would you have made that pick or would you have gone a different route?
I think I personally would have gone with, I like McCain here. I think Deron Holmes, as crazy as it is, probably is in this range. I personally like Keyshawn George, Khalil Ware, if he interviews and tests well, things like that. So there's a ton of options. I like the pick, and especially in the sense that Salon's a guy who's going to be coveted for the next 3 to 4 years as being included in those like star packages, you know, like if they trade for some mega superstar, like has been speculated for the last umpteenth months, Salon's going to be a guy that's going to be included. Like if you get Devin Carter, of course teams want that, but there's not as much upside for a team offloading a star. So if you have Salon, Zhang, and this buku of picks, I think that kind of bolsters your star package some too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because if you're trading a star, you're most likely entering into somewhat of a rebuild, and I'd probably rather have Salon long-term just because of the higher upside than Devin Carter, because Carter's probably more of a guy that you'll really see him excel and see kind of him to his fullest potential when it's in the playoffs and there's chaos going on and you need someone to get rebounds and hit maybe a clutch shot here and there and step up on defense.
Yeah, 100%.
13 Sacramento. What do you think they go here?
Ooh, I like them to add front court depth. I'm not sure they do, though. Man, there are a lot of options. Like you said, Tristan DeSilva can do a little bit of everything. I think Flip is interesting. I probably go BPA here and Jared McCain. I know that's a little funky, but I just think his baseline stuff of shooting, he's not a detriment on defense. I don't think this team with De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis can get enough shooting. I go McCain. I think he's really good. I think this is probably his range, if not a little higher, so that's who I'd go.
Yeah, and I think there's a solid chance they lose Monk in the offseason, and with like Connect, Dillingham, and Shepard off the board, this is the next best shooter in this class that's NBA ready, so I like that pick for sure. 14 Portland. Thing is with Portland, like, could they use another guard? No. But I just don't see a way how Devin Carter falls out of the lottery if we're predicting what's going to happen. I think every report shows out that he's going to go in the lottery. I think there's been even some rumors that he can go to Memphis at 9, Chicago at 11. They really like him apparently. So I'm going to have Devin Carter go here to 14. I know it's a weird spot for him in Portland. They have a lot of guards. I just think like if we're thinking where he could end up, I just don't see him falling outside the lottery. So 14, either it's to Portland or a team trading up to get him. I think a very slim chance he falls outside the lottery because of all the things he could do well for you, especially if you're competing in the playoffs next year. Good size, good defender on the point of attack, can switch, can rebound, obviously exceptionally well for somebody that's a 6'3" guard / wing. So I'm going to go Carter at 14. Weird fit to Portland, but I just don't think he falls outside the lottery.
Even with Portland, though, I think they have a lot of low floor, high upside guards right now. So I really like taking the gamble on a guy who we know is going to like be pretty good at a lot of things. So I like that pick.
Yeah. And I think too, if they move like Malcolm Brogdon, there could be even more guard minutes opened up next year where he could slide right in.
Yep. 15 Miami. This one is so interesting because they could go win now. They could gamble. We don't know what the situation's going to be like in Miami next year. They could have some people shipped off. I really lean Collier here. I think Miami has done such a good job of developing their prospects in recent years that gambling on one of the highest upside guys here makes sense to me. I think they're going to have a point guard opening in the near future. Collier could really, really develop alongside this core right now, and you can kind of roll him out in a few years. Dynamic guy, can really pass, score, fill it up. So I like Collier here.
Yeah, I think I don't even know if this is going to be his floor, but I think one of the more slept-on guys in this class for his production post-injury for USC last year. And, yeah, for Miami, a team that could have a lot of turnover, or we'll see what they do this offseason. I do like that pick. That's good value. I was going to definitely take him at 16 if you didn't take him there. So that leaves me at 16 for Philadelphia. I mean, this team still has a window with Joel Embiid. When he's healthy, he's one of the 4 best players in the NBA, in my opinion. I'm going to have them go Tristan Da Silva here. I think they need to just add a bunch of wings this offseason. And Da Silva is someone that can, I think, do a little bit of everything. He can defend, he can pass, he can rebound, he could shoot, and he can handle the rock. And I think that could be very valuable for the Sixers throughout the regular season, but more importantly, the playoffs next year to have kind of guys of that archetype. So I'm going to go to Silva with the 16th pick. And we got the Lakers at 17. Should I just pencil in Bronny right now for you?
I'm going to pass. I appreciate it, though. Maybe he'll be there in the second.
I think so.
I like the Da Silva pick, though, because they're also losing Tobias Harris. So I think he does infuse a little bit of what he did in terms of being able to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
The Lakers, I'm glad that the Pelicans deferred this pick because I think the Lakers have a lot of interesting options. Flip. I really lean front court because I think they're getting help back on the wing. I think their guard thing tends to just kind of work itself out. People always sign at the guard. I think front court is probably the way to go.
Yeah.
I almost wonder if they don't just go Khalil Ware. Again, kind of that he could slot in just because he's massive at 7 foot. He can defend a little bit. He's pretty versatile offensively. But also, if the Lakers are wanting to make a big trade and kind of reshuffle their roster, Khalil Ware is a guy that teams would want if they're shipping off a star. So I lean him. Probably not as good as Lively's been for the Mavs this year, especially on defense. But he can at least be a 7-foot body that maybe they can throw lobs to. He can get in the way on defense. I like that.
Yeah, me too. I would have gone Ware here because I think he shares the same athleticism as like a Yves Missi, but I think is way more ready for big moment games that he's going to come to at if he's playing for the Lakers and if it's alongside AD. And if you can develop a shot, because like there's flashes here and there, that would be just a home run pick at 17 for sure. So 18 to Orlando Magic. Good options here for them here at 18. The way that this draft has fallen, they can go. I think shooting obviously is going to be a big priority for them. And there's 4 guys that I really like here with Keyshawn George, Bub Carrington, Johnny Furphy, and Jacoby Walter. I'm gonna have them go Jacoby Walter here. I think for someone that could just hammer in, we need you to be a good spot up shooter, maybe off the dribble a little bit. If Paolo's going to maybe double team to the post, you're going to have to hit a catch and shoot. I think that would be really good for his rookie season. Maybe he's going to be inefficient at times around the rim. We'll see how the defense holds up, but I still like his shooting and athleticism to be a good rotational piece long term. But I could definitely see the appeal of going like a Johnny Furphy here at 18.
Yeah, I like the Walter pick. I think his absolute ceiling is probably like a third scoring option that can do it off ball, a little bit on ball, maybe get to the rim, get some free throw attempts. I like that. I don't know that he necessarily sees the floor a ton next year, but he could be a guy that really jumps out and surprises you as a sophomore of like, where'd this guy come from? How's he being this impactful? So I like that pick.
Yeah, and I think maybe for the Magic, if like you said, like he could maybe see the floor a little bit down the line, they can get a perfect like bridge gap like shooting guard this offseason, and then when he's ready, can kind of insert him into the starting lineup down the line.
19 Toronto Raptors missed out on their pick, still got 19. There's a lot of really fun options here. I think for the most part, their fan base wants a big. Seems to be. I mean, you could bring Zach Edey home. I think Keyshawn George could maybe make some interesting wrinkles with Scotty Barnes. I lean Yves Missi. I think you can plug him in, like we kind of talked about earlier, as an immediate run, jump, and dunk guy. But he's also got this high upside in that started basketball pretty late, still very raw but developing. I like Yves Missi a lot. He's one of my favorite guys in this class, so I think it's a really fun fit in Toronto.
Yeah, I like Yves Missi as well, and I think just providing more competition to like Jakob Poeltl is a good thing. And the way that this draft is falling, a lot of good bigs there. This leaves me Cleveland at 20. Also, don't hate the idea of getting backup big man depth. So no longer we have to see Tristan Thompson at times, and I think they're in position to maybe move Jared Allen this offseason. So while I do like some of these wings that are available, I'm actually going to have them go big man. And I think he's ranked he's ranked 45th in this for some reason. He's definitely a top 45 guy in this class. Deron Holmes, I'm going to go here. I think there's a lot of hype for him to go. I think there's been a rumor that he has a promise in this draft. We'll see how the shot plays in the NBA level. It's a weird release, but if it goes down, it goes down. But he could be like a athletic guy that could be a 4, could be a 5, can guard multiple positions on the floor, be a strong inside presence, and I think is a good backup big for them potentially right away next year, and kind of keeps him in state there as well.
Yeah, like you said earlier, I'm so used to setting myself up for picks. It's not fun having your guys stolen from you.
I know.
Which is the nature of the actual draft. Imagine getting one pick away and then they take your guy right before.
I know, right? Yeah, so that's why these are fun too, because you can't set yourself up for picks. Were you going to go Holmes at 21?
Yeah, I was 100%. Okay, 21 Pelicans, new decision. I still like front court. I lean Flip. He's probably not going to be as good off the rip as Holmes, but I do think he's a little more versatile offensively, probably not as good defensively, but they've got some pieces there. I just like him probably alongside Zion. He can really space the floor. I buy the shot coming around eventually. I like Flip there. I could see a world where they maybe take Edie and just have absolute polar opposites at the 4 and 5, but I'll go Flip for now.
Yeah, I think like getting someone that could space the 4 at the 5 would be the move, rather than someone that can, and then you're kind of clogging the paint there for Zion. Suns at 22. This is like obviously a pick that's projected to get traded. Matt Ishbia kind of mentioned that it's most likely going to get moved. Or there's been the Bronny James rumors as well. Like, I have no idea what they're going to do. There's some still good talented guys here at 22 that could help them next year. I really like the idea of them getting Tyler Kolek, someone that could facilitate for this team, starting maybe, or even off the bench, and you can allow Devin Booker back into his off-ball primary shot creator role. I actually have mocked that a ton. I honestly don't hate the Zach Edey idea for him to be like a big man depth guy for them, that like they desperately need some big man depth, with Yusuf Nurkic really being the only big man on the roster right now. So you know what? I'm going to have Zach Edey go here. I could definitely see like Matt Ishbia wanting the bigger name if they keep the pick. And Edey could be that guy. He can be a solid backup 5 for you next year. He can come in, get some rebounds, anchor the defense. You can allow him to score in the post. And I'm going to go Edey at 22 there, which maybe is one of the higher picks I've had Edey go so far. I've never really had him sniff like the top 18 yet.
Yeah, I like that pick. I don't know that I've honestly necessarily considered it just due to the nature of other bigs being there typically, but I like it. I mean, they've got maximum floor spacing.
Yeah, we had a run on big, so I'm like, you know what? I guess he's probably the best one available. I don't know if they would go like the Tyler Smith project route, so have them go to the more NBA ready guy.
Yeah, there was a little fire sale there. Missi, Holmes, Flip, Edey right in a row, and that leaves me with the Bucks wondering what to do. Oh, I mean, you gotta think they want someone they can plug and play immediately. I don't think they're swinging for upside here necessarily. A lot of interesting options, like you said, Kolek. I really like Kolek. I believe in McCullough. I think I'm the only person on McCullough Island anymore that buys the 3-point shot, but that's fine. I lean Tyler Smith, I think.
Okay.
Can really space the floor, big body, could play next to Giannis, regardless of being pretty similarly framed. I believe he'll be able to contribute immediately with his shooting. I really buy the shooting. He played in the G League Ignite, had a G League ball, G League three-pointer. It makes sense on a couple fronts. I don't know that he's necessarily an impactful player next season, but I think he can slot in a year or two and give them what they need.
No, yeah, I'm a big fan of Tyler Smith. Like, I have a top 20 grade on him right now, and they're gonna like Brook Lopez getting up there in age. Bobby Portis gonna be a free agent soon. Like, they do need some big man depth, and getting someone that can space the floor. I view him more of a front court guy rather than a wing, but I'm a big fan of that pick at 23. So we're going to be making 2 picks for the Knicks here at 24 and 25. And I would have definitely taken Tyler Smith here at 24. I'm going to have the Knicks go Tyler Kolek here. I think someone that's NBA ready, the Knicks could definitely use. We saw how thin their bench was in the playoffs with all their injuries. And while I'm a big fan of Deuce McBride off the bench, I think he's better suited in an off-ball role. So when Jalen Brunson is not on the floor, I think they can go for a really good floor general and playmaker in Tyler Kolek, one of the better facilitators in this class, and NBA ready next year for the Knicks at 24.
Yeah, I think he's 100% NBA ready. I think he'll be good next year. I think there's a chance he maybe makes all rookie teams with the premier playmaking. I mean, he's going to be able to just absolutely wear pick and rolls out. That's a fun team. Kind of tag team in the Knicks here. I lean win now as well. I'm going to go McCullough. I think, obviously, we saw them in the playoffs. Their depth kind of came back to bite them, especially in terms of the injuries. They're playing guys 40 minutes a night. McCullough might not be plugged in and get you 15 points a game, but he is going to play his butt off on defense. He's going to be able to hound at the point of attack. He's going to be able to hit some open shots and get out in transition. I like McCullough as a guy you can kind of throw to the back of that rotation and maybe make an impact.
Yeah, I like that too. I think maybe Johnny Fairfield I like as a prospect a little bit better, but to the Knicks, I think McCullough, like Jalen Tyson, that mold definitely makes a lot of sense. Leaves us the Wizards at 26, which is nice because like we went Sart too. And like sometimes I'm usually trying to go for a big here because it's like Reese Shea too. So there's some great options here for this team. I think the top 3 guys on this big board of Furphy, George, and Carrington all could be great options. I'm thinking down between Furphy and Carrington for this team. And I love Furphy, but I think like if they extend Kispert, like maybe somewhat similar of a role on that team, I'm going to go Bub Carrington, one of the younger guys in this class. Could actually learn and be a really good backup point guard behind Tyus Jones if they re-sign him, and someone that could develop over time in a team that is going to be rebuilding, where I think could actually be a perfect position for him. And getting Sar and Carrington would be like an A++ for me in this class for the Wizards.
Oh yeah, that's a phenomenal pick. I think he goes really under the radar here as kind of a jumbo point guard. He's 6'5". I think Dawkins and co. really value positional size, as we've talked about. So leaving with Sar and Carrington, I mean, I don't know that you can ask for much better for the Wizards.
No, not at all. Yeah, I'd be a huge fan of their rebuild going forward with those 2 guys.
27, Minnesota Timberwolves. Kolek off the board. He's like my go-to because they need guard depth pretty bad. Oh, man. You know what? I'm going to go Dylan Jones. I think he gives a little bit of the same stuff. He's kind of that spark plug on-ball scorer. Not a great off-ball player, but you can play him in that kind of backup lineup when you need scoring, when things aren't going well. He's 6'6", jumbo guy. I like it.
Yeah, I think Jones' shot is NBA ready, and he's physical inside. He definitely plays a little bit taller than 6'6", or more physical to say the least. So I'm a fan of that if you don't go guard, because I think that is like a popular mock for them. 28 Denver. You know what? They've been a weird drafting team over the years. I was still shocked, like Peyton Watson going 30 with his college numbers, and it worked out, man. Like they kind of find value in those guys there. They've hit well on mid to late first round picks. I think I would go Furphy or George. I think there's appeal for both of them. I think if you're looking for more consistent shooting, you go Furphy. I think if you're looking for more defensive play, you go Keyshawn George. I don't think Furphy falls this far. So I'm just going to have him go here, go best player available. His shot could be in play next year, but I think he's someone that could still learn his feel for the game. And if you're playing next to Nikola Jokic, you really got to get familiar with that play style and where to be on the floor for Jokic's passing ability. But I think you're going really high upside here with Furphy at 28.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people go win now there with the Nuggets. I like a little bit of upside in that who knows what this roster looks like next year and a few years down the line. So I like Furphy. I think, to your point, he fits that system really well. He kind of plugs in and is malleable. So I like that a lot. 29. Utah Jazz.
Topic at 10.
Topic at 10. Yeah, that's very interesting. I almost lean Dadiet here. Pacom Dadiet.
Okay.
6'9". Can do a lot of things with the ball, can shoot a little bit, big body. I mean, that's about as pure upside as you get. There's probably no chance he sees the floor for a little bit. But you get Topic and Dadiet, maybe you go full youth movement. I don't know if you want to move off Markkanen. I don't know if you want to try and plug these guys in as early as next year or the year after, but I like the upside swings for the Jazz. I like them picking a lane, picking a direction, swinging for the fences.
Me too. And like last year with Sensabaugh, who's definitely more NBA ready than Dadiet, like they were fine putting him in the G League, and he played well in the G League, and you expect him to be in the rotation next year. And I think that'd be great for Dadiet, who can really develop, I think, in a better system, obviously, here in Utah. And Clarkson probably won't be on this team, in my opinion, in a couple years, and that could be perfect for him to slide in because you get him on a pretty valuable 4-year rookie contract. I haven't mocked him in the first round. I may have done it once, but I haven't done it a little bit, so I like to see that there. But the 30th pick is always so tough because there's like 20 guys that I would like to go here. Like Keyshawn George, I like a ton. Jalen Tyson. I'm still a big Cam Christie guy, but surprised he stayed in the draft. They need a big in Boston, but maybe they go more NBA ready. I mean, like I like Oso Ighodaro. Maybe similar to like maybe not as a shooter as like Al Horford, but good passer for his size. Bobby Klintman with his size. Man, Baylor Shireman's ready to... Oh, man, there's so many guys I like here. I like Keyshawn George, like, best player available. I mean, there's Ryan Dunn's defense. You know what? I'm going to go... I kind of like Oso Ighodaro here. I kind of like Boston getting a big man. I think he's got great court vision for somebody of his size. There's some like weird, I think, defensive questions that could be asked there for somebody of his size. Is he going to be physical enough? But he's like, he can get into passing lanes. I think he's really smart for a player. And I'm going to have him go 30 here to the Boston Celtics, which there's going to be some honorable mentions definitely not going in this mock and this round one mock. So I guess like after we made this, what's like your favorite pick that we kind of made here in this mock draft?
I think Sarr falling to the Wizards at 2 is such a no-brainer if that does indeed happen. I think the Hawks passing on him would be crazy, but the Wizards would be overjoyed at that happening. Again, I like Shepard to the Rockets, just looking through here. Dillingham to the Hornets is really slept on. I'm sure that franchise would not be ecstatic with that pick, but I really like it. I think Dillingham's going to be a stud. Maybe allows you to reshuffle your backcourt down the line. Holland to the Spurs is phenomenal. Would absolutely do that. I don't know if Holland makes it there. I feel like he's kind of a sleeping giant in that he could be a guy who really jumps and shuffles up that top 5.
Yeah, I think there's a chance he can go 4 to the Spurs, honestly. Like, he can go 3 to the Rockets. Who knows? Maybe if Sarr goes 1, maybe Washington likes Holland over Reece Shea at 2. I agree. I think there's a really good chance he can go before 8 in this, for sure. I'm trying to think, like, non-lottery pick that I really liked. I like Kel'el Ware a ton of the Lakers. I think that's a home run pick for them. I like McCullough and Mike Kolek to the Knicks, like getting NBA ready guys that could maybe contribute in the playoffs for them next year. And I like Bob Carrollton to the Wizards a ton. All right, so yeah, thank you for doing this with me, Derek. I appreciate it a ton. You guys can follow Derek on YouTube. Big draft guy, great mock draft content over there as well if you guys enjoy that. You can follow him on Twitter as well. All the links will be down below. And thank you guys all for watching and listening, and we'll catch you all on the next one. Peace.